Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. Hope you're having a good day, good evening, or whatever it takes. Hey, going to talk about some important stuff here because it is not as you would expect. But before we do, just let you know, we're preparing for our trip to Thailand. We're leaving in a couple of days, and we had to start getting stuff together. And the more I started getting things together, the more I said, hey, you know what? This is not quite as um, straightforward as a lot of websites show. So we thought we would do something that would give us a little bit more in depth review of it. If you find this interesting, if you like it, if you appreciate it, hey, please subscribe. And more than anything, please hit that thumbs up. We would really appreciate that. So let's talk about this for a few minutes. We're going to cover over the next several videos the travel tax in the Philippines, and we're going to cover the immigration exit clearance. And we talk about immigration and we think about that's coming into a country. You go through immigration. Well, here you actually go through immigration as a foreigner. You'll go through immigration in and out. So actually, even as a Filipino, you will. So it's kind of important that you understand what the limitations are, because sometimes it applies to you, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it does not apply to you, but it did. If that kind of makes sense. There are some variables, in other words. That's the best way of putting it. So without further ado, let's kind of get going here. All right. So considerations for international travel outbound. That's what we're covering here, is outbound travel. Okay. And outbound is what is defined as international outbound. All right. It's not going to have, none of this has any impact on you inbound to the Philippines. So who do these rules and requirements impact? It's non-immigrant visa holders, Philippine citizens. Okay? And so right now what we're talking about is the travel tax. And you know what? You need to understand who you are. And so with very few exceptions, for very special classifications, you're either a Philippine citizen, which means you have a Philippine passport, or you're a non-immigrant visa holder. Because an immigrant is somebody that's on their path to citizenship or is a citizen. Okay? And there are exceptions to every rule and every classification, and we'll go through a few of those when they apply, or when they apply to the vast majority of the people that are going to be watching this. So you're going to have special retirement or special resident retirement visas, SRRVs. And this is a special type of foreign national that will meet the requirements of an SRRV, which is essentially a clean bill of health, a clean National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, police record is clear, and you put money into a Philippine account. All right, so the SRV, remember, because I told you sometimes it applies, sometimes it doesn't. The SRV is a visa, hence the last word of the initials, Special Resident Retirees Visa. It's a visa, okay? The SRV gives benefits that include an exemption from the exit clearance, reentry, annual registration requirements from the Bureau of Immigration, and the travel tax. But the exception to that is provided that the retiree has not stayed in the Philippines for more than a year from their last date of entry. Okay? So essentially, who's required to pay the travel tax? Well, Filipino citizens, if it's international travel, with few exceptions, you are required. Taxable foreign passport holders. That means you don't have a Philippine passport. And then non-immigrant foreign passport holders who have stayed in the Philippines for more than 1 year. And you can pay through Taizi or Taiza, and I'll show you how to do that. And then there are a couple of exceptions. Filipino citizens that are permanent citizens abroad. So, for instance, your wife that lives and has permanent residence in the U.S. but may still have a Filipino passport. All right. Balikbayan visitors. Now, these are Balikbayan visitors are essentially married to a Filipino, but not a 13A or other G or 13G or other type of individual. Okay? So, okay. So what happens here? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. You can go and you can list here who is travel. What is the travel tax and how much is it? Here it is. It kind of explains it. I'll have the link below in the information to the government, the Philippine government tourism website that offers this information. Now, one of the things that we're going to suggest you do is first figure out if your ticket, even if you need to pay the tax. So let's say you came here, you had a visa on arrival, which is nothing more than a stamp in your passport, and you stayed less than 59 days, 59 days or less. Okay? You're not going to pay the travel tax. You don't need to pay it. But if you paid more than, if you're on a tourist visa and you paid more than, you stayed more than the 59 days, you're going to end up paying. And you can see it's 1,600 and, 1,620 in economy and 2,000 some odd. I can't see because my camera's in front, but 2,000 some odd pesos if you're in first class. What you need to figure out first off is did you pay it already? Because sometimes airlines will put that travel tax into their ticket. So look on your ticket under the details of your ticket, and it'll have, all the taxes and everything else, and it'll show the travel tax. So now you have two choices. Let's say you didn't pay for it already. You have three choices actually. The first one is you can go back to wherever it is you got the ticket, and you can talk to them and find a way to pay through them. I think that's kind of much harder. The second thing you can do is simply go online and pay it in advance of going to the airport. And the third thing you can do is pay it at the airport. Well, if you pay at the airport, you have to get in line to pay it. So what happens is you will get to the ticket counter and they will tell you have to go pay it before they'll issue you a boarding pass. So you got to go back, pay it, and then 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to get back in line, check in again. So why not just pay it online in advance? Well, now, previous years, that was not possible. But now you can. All right. Or you know what? I say previous years. Previous years, I didn't know of its ability to be paid online. I don't think you could have. All right. But now you can. So if you go to their website, they'll tell you a little bit more about it and how it works. Oh, well, you're already at the website, I'm assuming. You'll have a drop-down menu. Third tab over from the left, it'll drop down. It says pay your travel tax online. Okay, so you'll click on that, and it's just going to bring you to this page. So what ends up happening is you end up registering with an email and your contact information. Now make sure you have the ticket number. All right, your passport number. Make sure you have all this information. And once you have all this information, you fill it in, and you can add additional people. Like, for instance, Arlene and I traveling together, all we did was click on add a passenger. And so we added on another passenger. Okay? And supposedly you will get this travel tax payment in within 24 hours. We got ours almost immediately. So it was completely done. No big deal. So with all of that being said, you know, it's important that you look at where you fit in and how you fit in. The rules are really not any different than they used to be, but there are a few exceptions that have changed over the years. An SRV, you know, because of lockdown and everything else, we have a lot of SRV people that we know that were here for over 1 year. And they ended up, oh God, I've never had to pay travel tax. But they got to the airport and found out they did. And they got delayed, but their flight, they made their flight, but they got delayed in getting through the lines, because now that you get the travel tax done, you are going to have to go get an immigration exit clearance. All right. And we're going to cover that next time. I'm trying to keep these videos short and concise. I tried to do things a little bit differently here to give you a better idea, throwing in the slides. Let me know if it made it less or more confusing. We appreciate your time. Please subscribe. And don't forget, we've got our Thailand videos coming up. We start in just a few days. Have a great day, and we wish you well.